Please remain seated while the graduating class of 2015 and the certificate recipients enter the hall. They will be led in by faculty marshals Mr. William Taylor and Ms. Jennifer Humberg, and student marshals Ms. April Hall and Mr. Jeremiah McGowan. Next, the faculty and student marshals will lead in the Terra faculty and professional staff. Following the faculty and professional staff will be the entrance of the platform party.
Students of the 46th graduating class, your hour has arrived. The commencement ceremony has now begun. Please be seated while the American Legion Post 121, Fremont, Ohio, presents the 5 service flags. Veterans and active service members, please stand when your service flag is presented. Will you please rise as the Terra State Veterans Guard presents the colors?
Please remain standing while Joan Eckerman sings our national anthem.
Oh,
Dr. Jerome Webster, President of Terra State Community College, will now address the graduates and guests.
You may be seated. Good evening. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty, and the staff at Terra State Community College, we congratulate all of you who represent the graduating class of 2015 on completing the requirements for graduation, and we welcome those of you who have come to share in the joy and celebration of this evening. Tonight is a special evening for Terra State Community College as well as for our graduates. Tonight, we are graduating our 46th class of students. 268 students are graduating with an associate degree in over 60 fields. We also have 122 students who have completed their requirements to earn a certificate. Congratulations to all of you. Let me share some facts about the graduates sitting before you. The average time for our 2015 graduates to complete their degree was 4.6 years. Our youngest graduate is 17 years old. Our oldest graduate is 70 years old. Let's give her a round of applause. Three graduates will be receiving their associate degrees this evening and will graduate from high school later this month. We have 17 graduates who are earning a dual associate degree. 9 students have a 4.0 grade point average. 51 have a grade point average of 3.5 or higher. 28.7% of our graduates have transferred credits from other colleges or universities to Terra State. 23 of our graduates tonight have also been working as student employees this year. 15 of our graduates are veterans, and their deployments have included Iraq and Afghanistan. To our graduates, I extend to you our sincere congratulations on your achievements and our very best wishes for a challenging and successful future. This commencement ceremony is a time for recognizing the strong leadership that each of our graduates has exhibited in the accomplishment of their goals. According to 2 well-known academicians and award-winning authors, James Kouzes and Barry Posner, the unique reason for having leaders, their differentiating function, is to move us forward. Leaders get us going someplace. In Kouzes and Posner's research, the personal best leadership cases were about firsts, about radical departures from the past, about doing things that had never been done before, about going places no one else had yet discovered. The leaders who help us get results beyond those we thought possible, who expand our vision of what may be possible, who are willing to risk choosing a direction others know is impossible, these are the leaders we admire the most. It isn't how large the work is that makes an artful leader. It's how artfully the work has been done, no matter how small, and whether it matters that the work was done at all. As graduates this evening, you are commencing on your continued journey of learning and leadership. Remember that you must always champion the call to learn. It is the hope and expectation of our entire community college that Terra State has not only planted the seeds of learning in you, but that you will share your leadership in learning wherever your journey takes you. At this time, I would like to present our platform guests. Please stand as I call your name. Starting in the back row on my far right, Interim Dean of Enrollment Services, Heath Martin. Interim Dean of Allied Health, Nursing, Physical, and Social Sciences, Amy Anway. Dean of Business, Communications, and the Arts, Jolene Myers. Dean of Engineering, Technologies, and Mathematics, Andy Carroll. Dean of Planning and Institutional Effectiveness, Dr. Michael Capper. Associate Professor and President of the Terra Faculty Association and tonight's Mace Bearer, Dr. Michael Smithback. College Registrar, Eric Steinberger. Terra State Trustee, Carl Kobel, and Terra State Trustee, Kyle Overmeyer. Starting on my right in the front row are President's Cabinet members, Director of Human Resources, Nancy Kosenka, Vice President for Institutional Advancement and Executive Director of the Terra College Foundation, Dr. Corey Stein. Vice President for Financial Affairs, Randy McCullough. Vice President for Academic Affairs, Jack Fatika. Our keynote speaker, the Honorable Lisa Mensa. Chair of the Terra State Board of Trustees, Sandy Burlekamp. Vice Chair of the Board, Matthew Montowski. And Trustee and Sergeant at Arms, Kay Ryder. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Graduations are times of celebration, but not just for students. There are many others who provide support for our students, often over a period of several years. Our graduates often have been given support from several generations of family members. I would like to give our graduates the opportunity to thank these groups. Graduates, please stand and turn and face the audience. When I give you the go-ahead, that's when I give you the go-ahead, this will be your one opportunity to celebrate others this evening. Now it's time for audience participation. I will call upon family members of various categories and ask our graduates to hold their applause until all are standing. If you are a grandparent of a graduate today, please stand. Parents also provide such an important link to our graduates' success. Parents, please stand. And of course, there is the support that spouses and significant others provide. If you are a spouse or significant other, please stand. Our students often raise children at the same time they are gaining an education. These children are proud of the achievements of their parents. Children, please stand too. Now graduates, please share your recognition and appreciation for all of your family members. Family members, you may be seated. Next, graduates, you didn't get to listen very well. Stand up, turn around. Next, I'd like to allow the students and the audience to recognize our faculty and staff. The soul of a college is embodied by this very special group of people. Our college's mission is rooted in learning. This group of dedicated individuals plays the most significant role in developing and nurturing this learning in our students. The faculty and staff represent the very best that we have to offer as a college. I'd like to allow the students the opportunity to recognize the faculty and staff of Terra State. Will the faculty and staff please stand? Okay, graduates, your turn. Thank you very much, graduates. You all may be seated.
Mr. Jack Fatika, Vice President for Academic Affairs, will now address graduate honors.
As our graduates were marching in today, I'm sure you noticed that some were wearing honor cords. The various cords are outward symbols of scholarship. Upon announcement of the symbol of each cord, I'd like to ask everyone in the audience to join me in recognizing these individuals. First, would all the graduates who are members of Phi Theta Kappa please stand and remain standing? Many are wearing a stole that denotes that they are members of Phi Theta Kappa, the National Honor Society for Scholars at two-year colleges. At Terra State, a student needs a 3.5 grade point average to be inducted. Let us now applaud these graduates again. You may now be seated. Now I would like to ask all the graduates with cum laude honors
Please stand and remain standing. The blue cord represents a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 to 3.74. Let us now applaud these graduates. You may now be seated. Next, would all the graduates with magna cum laude honors please stand? The gold honor cord represents magna cum laude honors with a 3.75 to 3.89 grade point average. Let us now applaud these graduates. You may now be seated. I'd also like to ask the graduates with summa cum laude honors to stand. These graduates have attained the highest honor and graduated with a 3.9 or higher grade point average, essentially earning all A's in their 2 years here. They are wearing one blue and one gold honor cords. Let us now applaud these graduates. You may now be seated. Also tonight, our graduates who are veterans are wearing their veteran honor cords, which are red, white, and blue. Could you please stand and remain standing to be recognized at this time? Let us now applaud these graduates. You may now be seated. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, my faculty colleagues, and the entire Terra State family, I congratulate each of you on your scholastic achievement at Terra State.
Dr. Corey Stein, Vice President for Institutional Advancement and Executive Director of the Terra Foundation, will now introduce the student speaker.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you our student speaker for this evening, Mr. Brandon Beining. Brandon has motivated his fellow students at Terra State. He is often seen in the Student Activities Center speaking to students about his experiences here. He has shared this information as well as his future plans and career aspirations. These students look up to Brandon as a positive role model. Further, he has many accomplishments. Among these are first place digital and graphic design for the Spring Art Show, Fremont Rotary Student of the Month, student leader of Terra's Video Club, director and editor of the Documentary for Doug Jones, directing the live performance of Melissa Manchester, camera operator for the projector at the Bill Cosby Show in Sandusky, and most recently, a lead member of the production crew of the Jim Brickman Plattman Tour concert that sponsored the President's Scholarship at Terra State. I would like to share a few comments from those who nominated Brandon. Brandon is one of those rare students who is not only passionate about seeking his education, but inspiring and working with his fellow students and instructors to do the same, and another. In the classroom, he was a very active participant, asking questions and researching new and efficient ways to improve projects. Even after classes were over, he would sit in on other sections and help students who were struggling with tasks and difficult concepts. Please join me in welcoming our student speaker this evening, Mr. Brandon Beining. Please come forward.
Thank you, Dr. Stein, for that introduction. Good evening. Whew. Good evening. Parents, family, friends, Terra State faculty, members of the board, and most importantly, my fellow graduates. The first thing I would like to say is thank you. I am humbled and extremely honored to be your commencement speaker tonight. I've never been known as a quiet person, as you can tell. Half the faculty just chuckled to themselves. I've given speeches in the past without hesitation. However, from the moment that I was told I'd be speaking today, I've been a little nervous. And now that I'm standing here, it's actually not as bad as I imagined. It's worse. So if you please bear with me here, I'm usually on the other side of the video camera when an event like this is taking place. As I look at each of you, I know there's a great deal more wisdom and experience looking back at me than I could possibly give to you. I personally applaud the parents who have returned to college and who are walking with me tonight. I have yet to be married or have a child, and still my schedule is extremely busy and I'm always tired. I have a lot to learn about that, haven't I? Our paths to get to this point have all been different, but tonight we share at least one thing in common. I've spent a great deal of time thinking about what I should say to you tonight. Although I am young, I've learned some things in the last few years that I believe can apply to all of us. I've learned the importance of time management. How many of you have wasted time before? I mean, yeah, me too. I mean, we have YouTube, Google Play, the internet in our pockets, Netflix. I would binge watch TV shows when I should have been doing my homework. Don't tell my parents. Believe me, I put the pro in procrastinate. My first year at Terra, I would look at what I thought was an overloaded schedule and not know where to start. I'd get so tired of thinking about it, I'd decide to start with a nap. My second year at Terra, when I joined the Terra Video Club, is when I began to learn what it truly meant to be busy, or as Professor Mark Grind would say, dude, you have too many irons in the fire. By my third year, my involvement with the video club had expanded into many projects, and I found it was getting difficult to save time for my schoolwork. This is when I began to understand the importance of time management. You know, when you have so much to do, the pressure can be overwhelming, and it's easy to look for distractions to avoid difficult tasks. But procrastination leads to feelings of anxiety and stress, while good time management can make us feel confident and capable. We should take control of our time instead of allowing time to control us. Now, I can't say I don't still procrastinate. I probably always will. But I am better now than I was at managing my time. And usually just getting started makes all the difference for me. Everybody has the same amount of time each day. But what determines how we use that time? When we realize that time is a gift, we see our priorities change and choose to use our time more wisely. Looking back at my time here, I'd wish I'd given more of it to my friends and family. But without the countless hours I have given to my schoolwork and to the projects I've been a part of, I would not be speaking in front of you today. I've also learned to take on new challenges. My high school band teacher would say to us, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. I understand now what this means. We must be willing to learn new things in order to achieve success of any kind, or be willing to settle for a life of mediocrity. Our daily routines are comfortable to us, and that makes it difficult to take the risk of trying something new. But to grow and evolve, we must change and stretch beyond our comfort zone, and therein lies a challenge. We have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We only discover our limits by pushing them. The past 2 years, I pushed my schedule to its limit with my schoolwork, my job, and video projects. I never said no when a new challenge presented itself because I always saw an opportunity to gain more experience from it. This past February, some friends and I decided to make a short film for the experience and enjoyment. Before we started, I remember thinking, there's no way we're going to finish this film before the semester ended. There's just so much that goes into making a short film, and we had little time. But I felt like we had a solid script to start with, and the more we talked about it, the more others wanted to be involved. Before I knew it, we had a couple dozen people who were working with us. We met as often as we could and did as much as possible. But the end of the semester is here, and we're not going to finish our film. But even though we won't finish, I don't regret the time we spent working on it. The amount we learned was worth every minute, and filming with this crew turned out to be one of the best memories I have here at Terra. And finally, I've learned to accept change and to keep moving forward. Change can be scary, For me, the transition from high school to Terra was, and pardon the pun, terrifying. The daily routine that was familiar and comfortable to me for 13 years was gone. But no matter how much we want things to stay the same, life is all about change. If we are reluctant to step out of our comfort zones and lifestyles, it becomes difficult to achieve our goals. As I start the next phase of my life at Bowling Green State University, I'm still scared. This fall, I will walk into classrooms I don't recognize, filled with people I don't know. However, the experience I have had at Terra makes me confident and excited for what may be waiting in the future. Changes in life are inevitable. We must understand that changes will happen whether we want them to or not. And we must adapt to these changes while remaining true to ourselves. Sometimes the hardest part of change isn't just letting go, but learning how to adjust to a new beginning. But a new beginning is waiting for each of us now that our time here at Terra is nearing its end, and we should embrace it. And so, my fellow graduates, if our paths should cross again after graduation, it is my hope that I see you making the most of your time, taking on life's challenges, embracing change, and loving what you do. I leave you with this final thought, a quote from my favorite vocalist, Jeremy McKinnon, who said, "If you care about what you do, and you do it for the right reasons, absolutely nothing can stop you." And I truly believe this. To the 2015 graduating class of Terra State Community College, I wish you all the very best. Congratulations to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Brandon. It is my pleasure to present you with the 2014-15 Graduate Award for Student Commencement Speaker. Congratulations, Brandon. Thanks.
Mr. Heath Martin, Interim Dean of Enrollment Services, will now present Student Recognition Awards.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to recognize 3 graduates this evening in Terra State's tradition of honoring community service and perseverance. We honor one graduate who is receiving the Community Service Award. This award is given to students who have provided distinguished service to their community while attending Terra State. I now call upon Ms. Allie Willis to please come forward. Allie has provided invaluable service to the campus through her work on student government as treasurer for 2 years and as a student employee in the Office of Career Services. She has been a willing volunteer on many campus and student government projects. Allie can always be counted on to be on time and to lend a hand. It is my pleasure to present you with the 2014-2015 Graduate Award for Community Service. Congratulations, Allie. Tonight, we honor 2 students who are receiving the Perseverance Award. The Student Recognition Committee struggled at choosing only one. They felt there were 2 deserving students. This special award is given due to a student's commitment to perseverance through trials to triumph while attending Terra State. I now call upon Ms. Katie Sleek and Ms. Lindsay Jennifer to please come forward. Katie could be described as a typical non-traditional student, but her ability to move forward in the face of adversity is quite admirable. She lost her husband after starting her journey back to school and took some time off before returning. But when she came back, she became involved, won awards, and achieved recognition. Katie has demonstrated her work ethic and dedication. She inspires others to move beyond their comfort zones. Lindsay, on the other hand, started at Terra State right out of high school, but things didn't go so well for her that first semester. She left on academic probation. Lindsay started working 2 jobs and came to realize that she didn't like where her life was headed. She wanted more and realized she would need a degree to change things. Lindsay came back to school and has worked hard to achieve success. Katie and Lindsay, it is my pleasure to present each of you with the 2014-2015 Graduate Award for Perseverance. Congratulations.
Mrs. Sandy Burleycamp, Chair of Terra State Community College's Board of Trustees, will now introduce tonight's commencement speaker.
When the college was planning tonight's commencement, much thought was given to the fact that Terra State serves a number of small rural communities and is known as a rural college. In the heart of the state of Ohio's #1 industry, agriculture, the college enjoys its partnerships with Downtown Fremont Incorporated, which is working on the revitalization of the historic district of the city. We also partner with expanding manufacturing companies in Tiffin and Seneca County, among other areas of our service district, and we support a robust hospitality industry in Ottawa, Erie, and Huron counties, the Lake Erie Islands and shores. These are just a few of the ways that the college partners to support rural development. The college was thrilled when a federal official who provides leadership for 3 agencies charged with improving the economic well-being of rural America agreed to be our keynote speaker. The Honorable Lisa Afua Serwa-Mensah was nominated by President Obama for the position of Undersecretary of the United States Department of Agriculture for Rural Development, and she was confirmed by the U.S. Senate in November of 2014. Undersecretary Mensah provides leadership for the Rural Housing Service, the Rural Utilities Service, and the Rural Business Cooperative Service. Prior to the USDA, she was the founding Executive Director of the Initiative on Financial Security at the Aspen Institute. In that role, she led a national bipartisan effort to promote solutions to the complex problems of helping more Americans save money, buy homes, and finance retirement. Undersecretary Mensah began her career in commercial banking at Citibank before joining the Ford Foundation, where she was responsible for the country's largest philanthropic grant and portfolio of investments in rural America. Undersecretary Mensah holds a Master of Arts from the Paul H. Nitze School of Advanced International Studies at the Johns Hopkins University and a Bachelor of Arts from Harvard University. While growing up in the state of Oregon, Ms. Mensah spent her summers picking strawberries for production, which taught her the value of a hard day's labor. She and her husband are the parents of 2 children, a daughter who plays collegiate basketball, and a son who's an impressive water polo player in high school. Terra State Community College is delighted and honored to have Undersecretary Lisa Mensah as our guest speaker this evening. Please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Thank you so much, Dr. Webster, distinguished guests, family members, and of course, graduates. Thank you for your kind welcome and for the privilege of joining you here this evening in the very heart of Ohio. You graduates are about to turn the page on the next chapter of your lives, and I'm so honored to be part of it. I'm also very honored to know that a $1,000 honorary scholarship will be awarded on my behalf to a deserving student in the next scholarship award cycle. What a wonderful tradition, so thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So to Dr. Webster and the Terra State administration and faculty, many of whom I've met this evening, thank you for understanding that a quality education changes lives and really changes generations of lives. Today is a day to reflect on the many lives you have touched and the people you've helped along the way. If you've ever questioned your impact, a quick survey of the smiling faces that are looking at me right today should erase all doubt. To the parents and grandparents and children and family members, all of you who stood up and who've been so steadfast in support of these proud graduates, let me add my thanks. The success of those who are seated before me is in part a testament to the commitment of those who stand behind them, who sit behind them today. This is your day too. So I'd like to talk a little bit about rural America and the investments which keep it strong. Investments in rural America and its people. At the U.S. Department of Agriculture, it's our conviction that the future of America really depends on a strong rural America. My mission area of the department, and it's called Rural Development, focuses on safe, affordable housing, ensuring access to reliable electricity, safe water. It focuses on broadband, and it's designed to open the internet global marketplace. We also support rural small businesses, the rapidly expanding bioeconomy. In fact, Ohio is really a key player on the national field for us. And we support rural community facilities, police, fire departments, hospitals, libraries, and yes, schools, even community colleges. In fact, over the last 6 years, rural development has committed more than $300 million to the post-secondary education field for rural America. And investments like these offer tangible evidence of our commitment to building a strong rural America. But I want to tell you about my favorite part of being the undersecretary. And that's being a champion, being a fighter for rural America, for its people, and the investments that have proven time and time again to yield high returns for our country. And I'm so pleased to be with you this evening and to celebrate one of America's most innovative and dynamic colleges, Terra State. Really, really. Your school has really been on the leading edge of a national movement. Community colleges now enroll more than 6 million students and are growing rapidly. So what's behind this growth? For one thing, while you may not feel this when you get your tuition bill or your student loan statement, you're probably not facing the mountain of student debt faced by most traditional university students. Next, community colleges are flexible, meeting the needs of the non-traditional student. Many of you have jobs. You needed to make the class hours fit your work schedules, not the other way around. And finally, we've seen this growth because the education, skills, and training provided by community colleges like Terra are working because it's exactly what businesses are looking for in job applicants. And it's exactly what we need for a strong U.S. economy. Now I want to toot the horn for the Obama administration and for something that the president proposed earlier this year. Because of the success of community colleges like yours, President Obama proposed the America's College Promise to make 2 years of community college free for responsible students, letting them earn the first half of a bachelor's degree and earn the skills needed at workforce at no cost. Now, I know that doesn't help you today since you've already got your tuition bill, but trust me, when you run your own businesses, you're going to want good job applicants. And even if you don't become an employer yourself, this kind of proposal will help our whole country. Nearly 100 years ago, the United States committed to making high school education free. But as you know so well in Ohio, the job market for someone with only a high school degree can be a scary place. The president said it best, and I quote, "In the coming years, jobs requiring at least an associate degree are projected to grow twice as fast as jobs requiring no college experience. We will not fill those jobs or keep those jobs on our shores without the training offered by community colleges. So that's why I'm so pleased to be here with you tonight at Terra State, which really is a shining example of what's being done right at America's community colleges. I want to say a little something to you all. This is my first visit to the Buckeye State as undersecretary, and I'm amazed that even in a state with a population of 11.5 million, the majority of Hawaiians are still connected to the small towns and rural communities and have such a strong sense of place. I really love experiencing rural America. I love being in your state and seeing what's happening. I've had time over the past 2 days to crisscross the state. I've been in the gentle rolling hills of Southeast Appalachia and spent the day today on your own beautiful North Coast, home of Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world. I'm wondering who's actually been on these roller coasters? Brave? Okay, I see a few brave hands. I am not the right person to brag about roller coasters. I find them completely terrifying, but I think there's really some wisdom here. And since you live near the home of the roller coaster capital of the world, I want to talk about what I call the Zen of roller coaster riding. Because I think roller coasters are really about fearlessness and flexibility. I'm going to return to those two words of fearlessness and flexibility. Some of my best moves in life involved doing things I found terrifying. These were things like a job that seemed way too big, a move, becoming a parent, teaching a teenager to drive, absolutely terrifying. But in life, I think we are pulled to things that we fear, but also know will thrill us. It's like that with roller coasters. They take us for a thrilling ride, and then they deliver us safely home. How many of you on this journey to graduation experienced a moment of doubt, a moment of fear, when you wondered if you'd ever make it here tonight to this stage? I'm proud to be speaking to a group of graduates to acknowledge the courage, the fearlessness, and the flexibility it took for you to invest in hard-earned certificates and degrees tonight. Fearlessness, the fearlessness that you've already showed, matters in achieving dreams, in sticking with tasks, in persisting, and in persevering. Many faith traditions teach that facing your fear truly takes hope. And it also takes flexibility, an ability to roll with it. Facing fear is an attitude that says, I'm going to make this work, even if it means getting there in another way. It means don't fall into the trap of being rigid. The ride is really worth it. That, I believe, is the wisdom of the roller coaster. Allow yourself to enjoy the ride, even when it's terrifying. Whatever circumstance brought you to this very place and time, whether it was the logical next step for you after high school, or a business that right-sized without you, or a mid-career reboot, or you've been a veteran and already served our country, you've shown great insight and courage by investing in yourself. Some of you will take the knowledge you've earned and gained here at Terra State, and you'll climb much higher. You'll be headed to baccalaureate programs at Bowling Green State University or the University of Toledo, other four-year institutions, and others, you'll take what you've learned and you'll go straight into your communities, small towns with big hearts, towns like Clyde and Port Clinton, Tiffin, ready to save lives and engage your new skills in the medical arts, protect lives in the area of criminal justice, or enhance lives through manufacturing and business innovation. You see, the thing that makes tonight so exciting and so remarkable is that your personal investment in your future is going to return dividends tenfold into the communities in which you live. This is something I understand on a deeply personal level. The reason I have a confusing middle name is that I'm a daughter of an immigrant from Ghana. And my father keeps falling into tears when he hears about what his children have done, because he can't believe he got the call in the 1950s to become a student at Oregon State, and it changed his life. Later, my family adopted a Cambodian brother as a refugee from Cambodia, and when we were sponsoring him, there was only one school in Oregon that would take his credentials. He had been a refugee, and he didn't have the right documentation, and it was a community college outside of Portland. And it's that community college that allowed him to get his start. So in my very own family experience, I know what it means to get this degree and to get on your way and to return the many investments that you've made right in. I really believe that having a sense of place means something to you all, as it does to me. This area is so clearly rich in history, from the French settlers that undertook a fledgling fur trade with the native Wyandots, to countless runaway African-American slaves who sought and found safe harbor here in the days before emancipation, to agricultural and manufacturing efforts. You all remain connected to this beautiful land and to one another's in a way that's sometimes lost to your big city neighbors. You should feel real pride in that. It's really a connection to family. And I want to end on family. I thought it was beautiful that you cheered your family, because it's family that really gives us all the strength and courage to invest in our communities. Families are really where we learn our first lessons. It's where we learn to speak, to walk. It's where we learn to love, and it's where we learn to hope. My feeling is that when you invest in your own family, that's the investment that will bring you the greatest joy, probably also the greatest challenges, but ultimately, it will lead you to care about and invest in your greater community. It's how a good government partnership also works. You invest in yourselves, in one another, and in your communities, and we at organizations like the U.S. Department of Agriculture do our best to support you along the way. Our dollars in partnership work best when they reward and match and turbocharge the investments that others have made. Innovation, collaboration, and strong leadership drive our future progress. The trick, in my view, is to stay fearless and flexible, because fearlessness and flexibility, and yes, a good roller coaster stomach, when necessary, those are the things that will produce fantastic results. Graduates, you have been given the tools, you've earned the right, and I challenge you to remain fearless and flexible. Congratulations, and many thanks.
Thank you, Undersecretary Mensah, for your stirring message. As you mentioned, on behalf of Terra State Community College and the Terra College Foundation, we are honored to present you with a certificate that recognizes that a scholarship in your name in the amount of $1,000, known as the Lisa Mensah Scholarship, will be awarded to a student attending Terra State next year who will study agribusiness or modern agriculture. Thank you for your remarks and spending time with us this evening. Round of applause.
Mr. Jack Fatika and Dr. Jerome Webster will now confer degrees and certificates.
Will the candidates for the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate of Applied Business, the Associate of Applied Science, the Associate of Individualized Studies, the Associate of Technical Studies degrees and certificates please rise? Dr. Webster, the faculty of Terra State Community College have certified that these candidates have completed all of the requirements for the Associate of Arts, the Associate of Science, the Associate of Applied Business, the Associate of Applied Science, the Associate of Individualized Studies, and the Associate of Technical Studies degrees and certificates.
By the authority vested in me as president of Terra State Community College, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and administration, I do hereby confer on you your Associate of Arts, Associate of Science, Associate of Applied Business, Associate of Applied Science, Associate of Technical Studies, or the Associate of Individualized Studies degrees or certificates. Class of 2015, will you make sure that your tassel is on the right side? Graduates, please be seated.
Members of the board, Dr. Webster, deans and directors, faculty, and guests, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of these degrees, diplomas, and certificates. We are now ready to recognize the graduates individually. I ask the audience to please save your applause until all the graduates in each degree have received their diplomas. Graduates, the marshals will direct you.
Will those students receiving the Associate of Arts please come forward?
Aubrey May Milligan, summa cum laude.
Brandon Michael Joseph Beining.
Amanda Lynn Wagner.
Alandra Rochelle Willis.
Patricia Ann Lee.
Katie Lee Sleek, magna cum laude.
Hannah Carriel Strayer.
Lindsay Alexis Jennifer, cum laude.
Curtis Williams.
Natalie Terra Green.
Krista Ann Franks.
Ashley Marie Kosenka.
Nathaniel Gabriel Garcia.
Ronald Eugene Schramm Jr., summa cum laude. Selena Marie Luce. Holly Ann Szymanowski. Sandra Marie Sherman. Will those students graduating with an Associate of Science please come forward?
Maria Rutashinskaya, summa cum laude.
Caitlin Marie Stroop.
Roxana Leslie Garza.
Chelsea Nicole Webb.
Crystal A. Wagner. Samantha Ellen DeWald.
Will those students earning an Associate of Applied Business please come forward?
Misty S. Melton.
Jacqueline Marie Phillips, cum laude.
Stephanie Ann Sherman.
Kristen E. Dodson, cum laude.
Logan Edward Frankert.
Candace Marie Atwell, cum laude.
Jessica Michelle Dotson, cum laude.
Jeanette Marie Doherty, cum laude.
Brittany Brianna Golden.
Christina Marie Albert, cum laude.
Sarah Elizabeth Goetzka.
Taffy T. McKnight.
Joni Albright.
Melissa Faye Puente.
Franklin Lee Klingshern, cum laude.
Rebecca Bell Hillman.
Jessica Ann Colby, cum laude.
Ashley A. Reed Pesnell.
Kyle Zachary Young.
Teresa M. Schetzer, magna cum laude.
Nicole K. Laux, cum laude.
Laura Marie Starr, magna cum laude.
Elizabeth Sue Miller, summa cum laude.
Jesse Demiras Pridemore.
Brian Gerard Long.
Breezy Janine Hearing. Jacqueline Sue Edmonds. Will those students earning an Associate of Applied Science please come forward?
just wait. I'm going to wait till everybody gets up. Cheryl Ann Radin Norman, summa cum laude.
Sarah June Aspen.
Sandra Ann Kuski, summa cum laude.
Linda K. Hamilton, summa cum laude.
Amanda Christina Casillas.
Vonda Scott.
Jennifer Bianca DeMoss.
Mariah Overa.
Jessica Elizabeth Guerra, magna cum laude.
Rhonda Ray Byer.
Alicia Paris Compton.
Michelle Therese Stout.
Tiffany Marie Dybel.
Danielle Eleanor Waltrip.
Ashley Marie Heischman.
Erin Nicole Billy, cum laude.
Jose F. Jacobo.
Sarah Ann Weichert.
Amy Lynn Okier, cum laude.
Kayla Brooke Tyree.
Jacqueline Ann Jana.
Leslie Lynn Smith.
Sarah Ann Jones.
Margaret Ann Bergman.
Crystal Annette Levitt, cum laude.
Tiffany R. Ballinger.
Janelle Lynn Crump.
Bethany Faith Holbeisen.
Sarah Lynn Dreyer.
Amber Lynn Riedmeyer.
Amanda L. Weimerskirt.
Sherry Lynn Fitzgerald.
Allison Marie Edmonds.
Stephanie Ann Hollis.
Jennifer Dawn Frankert.
Gina Ray Eversole.
Andre Julian Guzman, cum laude.
Kathy Ann Bauer.
Jillian Marie King, cum laude.
Mary Jane Blanchard.
Jean Ann Heckert.
Ashley Jane Shiley, cum laude.
Morgan Brittany Salyer.
Patricia Michelle Gonzalez.
Joseph Allen Pelton.
Laura Ann Alsbaugh.
Joshua M. McGuire.
Amber Dawn Graham.
Hope Renee Williamson.
Victoria Marie Riedling.
Robert James Lanning, cum laude.
Gina Rianne Kirksey, cum laude.
Michael D. Golden.
Sarah Louise Smith, cum laude.
Dawn Elizabeth Guba.
Christine Marie Flowers, cum laude.
Rebecca Elizabeth Letty.
Brianna Christine Peer, cum laude.
Judith K. Newton, cum laude.
Anna Louise Bacon.
Lucas Allen Smothers.
Jacob Matthew Schmidt.
Kelsey Renee DeMars.
Colton Blaine Ebling.
Ashley Irene Clawman.
Adam Aaron Williams.
Kylie Ann Lorcher, cum laude.
Scott Allen Songrass.
Alicia Lynn Villarreal.
Theodore Carl Lejeune.
Cynthia L. Wiley.
Michelle B. McGee, cum laude.
Melissa Jane Shell.
Wayne Anthony Crawford.
Lee Charles Waldrop.
Ryan Michael Nearhood, cum laude.
Adam Thomas Cook.
Justin T. Moyer.
John Patrick Gormley.
Cody James Fiddler.
Charles L. Grissom.
Quentin Jordan Wiesner.
Anthony J. Shaw.
Thomas Richard Wise.
Michael Patrick Davis.
James A. Riniger.
Adam Michael Rouse.
Michael Ray Lambert, Jr.
Daniel Joseph Schalk, cum laude.
Daniel Albert Kuzma.
Jeremiah Ivan Folds, cum laude.
Giovanni Johan Lopez.
Brandon J. Badal Cavas.
Miguel Angel Otero.
Kyle Patrick Daniel, cum laude.
Christian Wayne Bohr. Jeremy Robert Kitchen II. Clark Andrew Miller. Jacob James Lucius. Kenneth Christopher Schock. Will those students earning a certificate please come forward?
Michaela Margaret Kaiser. Taylor Leanne Kahn. Melissa Ann Taylor. Jeffrey Allen Young. Matthew Robert McKeown. Sean Michael Laura. Patrick Bailey McAuliffe. Adrian Cantu. Jameson Todd Geyer. Seth Shackley. Colin Philip Bush. Joseph Camarado. Casey Richard Wright. Donald C. Smith. Jeffrey Thomas Roser. Renee Lynn Steenson.
Dean Jolene Myers will now present Terra State's alma mater.
Congratulations, graduates. You may now consider yourself alumni of this great college. As at institutions, alumni can look back at their experiences through a song that recalls their time at college. Today, we are excited to continue our tradition at Terra State, the singing of the alma mater, which was composed by students and faculty of the creative writing and music programs. We are honored to invite Joan Eckerman, along with the brass choir and chamber singers, in the performance of the college's alma mater. Listed on page 18 in your program, you will find the entire alma mater written by our creative writing students. We invite you to join in song version, which is the ceremonial alma mater, used for academic rituals such as commencement. This was composed by music technology major Eric Lewis and music faculty member John Sipity. Joan Eckerman will perform the alma mater once through first, then we will all join in singing with her a second time. Again, congratulations, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Please stand during the singing of the alma mater. Please be seated. Junior Faculty Marshal Jennifer Humberg will now lead the closing ceremony.
Class of 2015, move your tassels to the left. The 46th commencement ceremony of Terra State Community College is closed. Guests, please remain in your seats while the graduates, platform party, and faculty leave the building. The faculty will be congratulating these graduates individually after the ceremony. After the graduates, faculty, and platform party have left the auditorium, then you may leave the auditorium. We would ask that you, our guests, join us in honoring these graduates' accomplishments at the reception in Building B. Please join us there.